Hey, badass black girls, and they making big moves. Hey, badass black girls, nothing that you can't do. They are the future, I'm trying to tell ya. They want the best, no time to settle. They got the strength to handle the pressure. These are the queens, nobody better. Yeah, changing the narrative, that is imperative. They about to rock this. Tell the women that you got this. Got no time for people who are toxic. It's all love, good vibes. You know I got your back, girl. Talking issues that matter. This is badass black girl, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Badass Black Girl. This is MJ, and today we have another wonderful guest. Fayola Nicaisse is with us. She's a very busy woman. We managed to catch her while she's still at the store. Hi, Fayola.
Hi,
For those of you who don't know you, Fayola, would you please introduce yourself?
I am Fayola Nicaisse, and I'm the founder of ebene, which is the first plant-based brand for ethnic hair. And then from there, we went to making products for people that have sensitive skin after the birth of my daughter.
We've definitely embraced your products within the family, but I also hear so many stories, so many success stories of people who are trying to find solutions for their hair, solutions for their skin, and they came to you and they found the solution. Let's talk a little bit about your line of products. Let's start with hair first.
Well, our hair products are plant-based. Like, for example, since we came on the market in 1999, there are a gazillion natural hair products on the market now. But there's a difference between being a natural product and product for natural hair. And that's the first distinction that people have to make when they look at our brand. Our products are plant-based. I'm very picky about what goes into the products. I don't use any chemicals that are irritating, that will clog your pores, that will give you any kind of adverse reaction. The children and I have eczema. And of course, when I went natural, let's rewind a little bit. Growing up back home, I used to always wonder, why is it that when my mom washes my hair, the texture is so nice and soft, and then the moment she puts products in it, my hair will become hard. Believe it or not, that's something that was in my head since I was 8 years old. I was always wonder, I'm like, why is it that my hair will feel hard after she puts products in it, but while she's washing it, it's soft? So fast forward to modeling, I started making products to keep my hair healthy while I was modeling when I was 18. And people were like amazed by that, by this 18-year-old making her little concoctions to use on her hair in between shoots and stuff. And I was making my own makeup remover, all of that. I was always into natural things. And then when I decided to go natural and I cut all my hair off, now I was like, washing my hair and it felt soft. And then I was using something that my mom had made where she mixed a lot of great oils, but she mixed them in a synthetic base with petroleum. And I was like, it's the petroleum, which is kind of sad because 99% of I should say 99.9% of the products made for us are petroleum based. And it gets us stuck into the cycle. You put the petroleum and it makes your hair hard. So now you think that you need a relaxer. And what I realized is once I went 100% plant-based, my hair texture improved over time and changed completely. I now have the hair that I had when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, before the hair started to change. And a lot of moms don't realize that changing the kids' hair texture with the products that they are using, which is sad. The one reason why I created ebene is because I felt like my personal care for my hair and my skin was not the best interest of the manufacturers that were out there at the time. I wanted plant-based products. I wanted something that was natural. I wanted something that didn't have synthetic preservatives. I wanted something that didn't have sulfates, that didn't have phthalates. And back in 1999, that didn't exist. So I had to make everything. And I went from making everything for myself and my family to becoming a business. So that's how ebene came to be. And I should add, when I first launched ebene, I was told Black people don't appreciate this kind of quality. That's why it's not available for them. And I was like, really? Well, this Black person does. So how about we test the market and find out if other Black people have been looking for something like this and they're just not finding it. I found that comment so insulting. And, and then I studied the history of our hair care. And it's like, it goes back from the very beginning. It was like, grab some, and I'm gonna call it engine grease because that's what petroleum is, and just slap it on that hair, make it greasy. And we grew up with this belief that the greasier the hair was, the healthier it was, and it's not. We use a lot of vegetable fats and vegetable butters and vegetable oils and essential oils, and they absorb into your hair without giving you that sticky, heavy, greasy feel. And what people don't understand is that petroleum actually does is that it creates a barrier. So when you're using petroleum-based products on your hair, it's stopping your hair from absorbing any kind of nutrients in the product. So it kind of like defeats the whole purpose. That's why petroleum is used as a diaper balm for babies. It creates a barrier. So yeah, I mean, that's how things came to be.
Let's talk a little bit about your skincare.
Well, the skincare came to be because of Gabby, my daughter. She's gonna be 23 this summer. Gabrielle was diagnosed with eczema at the age of 3 months. And I didn't know anything about eczema, even though I had it. Being from the Caribbean and being exposed to that kind of weather, that kind of water, those kind of things, I never had a flare up. I didn't have a flare up until I moved to Dallas, Texas, because of whatever chemicals they were putting in the water there. And, Gabrielle was born in Miami, but we live in Dallas. So she was born here and got on a plane after 2 weeks and went to her home at the time, which was Dallas, Texas. And after 3 months, she started to have these little patches on her arm, which I didn't understand what they were. I had never seen that before. And so then it went on her neck, around her eyes, around her nose, around her lip. It went all over her body. So then we rushed her to the emergency room, and the doctor was like, oh, it's eczema. She's gonna have to use a topical steroid creams probably for the rest of her life. And and my ex-husband and I, our views are so different. He's in the type of view that whatever the doctor says goes. I'm in the view where I want to know what the doctor says, but I want to look at a natural alternative, because I'm a strong believer that Mother Nature has given us everything we need to heal ourselves. So the doctor prescribed the steroid cream, and he filled the prescription because I wasn't going to fill it. And he brought it home. And while he was doing that, I went back to my notes. And the thing is that it's just so funny how this full circle came. I was always fascinated by raw materials as a kid. And when I was modeling, traveling all over the world, I always kept notes on oils, butters, fats, vitamins, different things, and what their purposes were. So I was studying for this without even realizing it. I was just really fascinated by stuff, right? So now I was like, okay, this little girl of mine has eczema. Let me understand what eczema is. And once I understood what it was, I was like, okay, I'm gonna formulate to tackle this. So before, he applied the steroid cream for one night, and I was like, I really don't feel comfortable about this. I really wanna try to make like a baby butter or a lotion or something for her. And, he was very annoyed because he doesn't understand our culture. And so we butted head a little bit about that. He's gone all day at work. Mommy takes care of the baby. So I just formulated all of her baby products. And within a week, the eczema disappeared. She was left with little white patches from where the little rashes were. And shortly after that, that part got its complexion back. And the only time Gabrielle broke out again was when she was traveling with some friends and she tried some over-the-counter products and she had a little rash. So now she knows to always travel with her ebene products. So yeah, that's how my skincare came to be. So I started out with the baby products. And, you know, I did make some pregnancy stuff for me when I was pregnant with her. And then when my son came, he had the eczema too. And his was actually just a little bit worse. And Xavier, and we didn't even know this until he started to play sports, Xavier's skin's immune system is low. Go figure. So when this kid gets exposed to different microbes, they attach themselves to, if he has a little scratch on his skin, they attach themselves to that, and then they just take over. And he was hospitalized actually 5 times for that because we didn't know what it was. It would start off looking like eczema, and then they would try to, no, it would start out looking like a ringworm. And they would try to treat it with antifungal, then he would have an allergic reaction to that. And so now that we know that his skin's immune system is very low, he's extremely careful. You know, like whenever he plays sports, he doesn't even wait until, you know, he gets home. He'll bathe at school, take everything off to make sure that nothing attaches itself to any scratch that he might have gotten while he was playing his football game, and make sure that he's okay. Plus, I had to make a whole skin care regimen for him, specifically for his needs. With him, it's neem. I have to use a lot of neem-based products. So he has a neem shower gel, a neem lotion, a neem toner to put on his face. The other day, he was hanging out with some friends at their house. He fell asleep on one of their pillows, and Xavier came home with a rash on his face. And he was freaking out. He was like, Mom, because he was afraid that he was gonna have to go to the hospital for it. I was like, relax. So I just went and made this toner for him. And there's a farm in Homestead that has neem trees, ironically, which is great. So I had purchased a pound of those leaves. And so I made him, I infused some of them in the toner and gave it to him. The next day, I'm like, how does your face feel? He's like, well, it feels dry. And I'm like, let me look. So it felt dry because the rash was drying up. And then the next day, how does your face feel? I guess it's okay. And then the rash was gone. And I said to him, you already know you have very sensitive skin. Don't go sleeping on people's pillows at their house. Because you don't know if there was a pet there. You just don't know, because his skin is that sensitive. He has the most sensitive skin out of the 3 of us, which is crazy. Who knew people can have low immune system in their skin? It was like a case study at the hospital. They didn't know what was happening.
Now, Fayola, I would like to talk a little bit about your store. You are located in Miami. Tell us a little bit about your experience just running the store. And I'm really interested about your what it is to be a business owner in Miami right now.
Well, with COVID, things are a little challenging. So thankfully, most of our business is online. You know, ebene's website launched in 2000. That's 21 years ago. So most of our business is there. And we also do Amazon. With the store, before COVID, we used to have little events, and we would have quite a few things happening here, and it was great. But since COVID, I try to limit how many people we have in here at a time. So we haven't had an event in a little while. But with that said, it is great. Our store is located in Overtown, which is going gentrification. And I really wanted to make sure that we had a base here because it's a great location. It's 5 minutes from Brickell, 3 minutes from downtown, 10 minutes from Midtown. It's an area that has been wrongfully labeled. And the reason why I say that is because growing up, I was always told to avoid Overtown growing up in Miami. Overtown has such negative stigma attached to it. So badly so that when I was actually in Overtown, I didn't even know I was in Overtown. I was invited to an event here, and the gentleman after the event said, "Why don't you go and walk around?" I said, "Okay." I had my car parked down the street, and I just walked around. I just walked around. I was like, wow, this is kind of cute. This is kind of a neat neighborhood. I didn't know where I was. And I kind of spoke to some of the other people that were walking around, some of the patrons and stuff. And I just was curious. And I felt very comfortable walking around. And he wanted me to take a look at this pink building, and pink is not my color. So when I walked up to it, I was like, I don't know. And like 4 or 5 months went by, and he was like, "Did you think about the building?" And I said, "Well, it's pink. Do you think the owner will let me paint my little area a different color?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sure he would, because pink is not the color that they're going to stick with." And I said, "Okay." So then I went back, and this was like 6 months later, and I called the real estate company that was managing the property, and I asked to see inside the space. And mind you, shortly before that, I had dreamed about my dad, who you knew and who has passed away a long time ago. And my dad was, in this dream, my dad was smiling at me. He was just smiling at me, and he looked so peaceful. And I was like, okay, I haven't seen him since he passed away. So this was kind of interesting. And I was like, okay. So when I went to look at the place and I opened the door, the terrazzo floors in here are almost identical to the terrazzo floor in my house in Haiti. And I got goosebumps, and tears ran down my face and everything. And I called the guy. I said, okay, I'm going to take it. It has been very interesting to see the change in the neighborhood. I hear Targets going up the street. They have a lot more restaurants opening around us. But we have also made a very strong movement to make sure that the Black business ownership is very relevant also in the area. Because this area used to be called the Black Wall Street. People don't know that. This area was where Black celebrities would stay. This was their stomping grounds in the times of segregation, when they weren't allowed to be on South Beach. And that history was never shared with us. So it's a place that's really filled, I should say, with a lot of history. And little by little now, they're telling its history. So that has been kind of exciting to watch that whole, what's the word that I should use? To watch what is overly due being told. Because this was not, this is not a scary neighborhood that people should avoid. I walk around here all the time. I have yet to feel unsafe. There's more stuff going on in South Beach than here. And I'm gonna have to, to send a little email to the Bad Boys crew, because in their latest movie, I heard them say something about, don't go to Overtown. When you come to Overtown, you won't get out alive. And I was like, that's not cool, because that's not even true. But they don't know if that stigma is still being advertised. People are buying into it. Even my own family, when I came to Overtown, my little brother was like, you go into Overtown? I said, yes. And I said, if you see me in Overtown, then you know Overtown is safe. Yeah, they have a couple homeless people around, but so does Pinecrest. I drive around Pinecrest, I see homeless people. I drive around Palmetto Bay, I see homeless people hanging around the businesses. South Beach, same thing. And it has actually, I have found a newfound respect for the couple homeless folks that I've had conversations with. Like, some of them are veterans, which is sad. It's sad to see that they've given up so much for their country, and the country is not taking care of them back. That kind of bothers me a little bit. And ironically, the ones that I've had conversations with have now taken this position of being my bodyguards. So if anyone tries to do anything in front of my store, they watch. They're like, no, you can't put that here. You cannot put that there. When I'm leaving late at night, they wave at me. They smile. Like it's such a very unexpected vibe that I've had based on what I've been told for years. You know?
I'm already amazed at everything you do. I love your products. I tell people
Thank you.
all the time. So I'm so, so glad you came and had a chat with us.
And I will come back anytime.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.